This is the Weather Xtreme video for Sunday, August the 29th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters, and this could become one of the coolest August 2010 days we've seen. Let's take a look at the Skycam network, and that shows the story somewhat as we see the wet streets down there at the sidewalks at the University of Montevallo from the Montevallo campus. And we can't see the streets, but we can certainly see the clouds at Mount Cheaha, as the highest point in Alabama is engulfed in clouds and no rain falling at that particular spot at this insane hour. The culprit in our weather pattern this morning for us is primarily a weak surface low over southwest Louisiana, and that surface low has been creating a lot of rain across the Gulf Coast and up into Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. On the upper air map, and you can see here, this is the water vapor imagery with the 500 millibar pattern overlaid on it. And you can see the big ridge over the eastern part of the country, but there's also a little weakness in that ridge, and that's the little low that we see over central Louisiana. Also notice all the moisture, that's the grayish area over the southeastern United States, especially Georgia and Alabama. So our moisture has definitely increased a lot. Looking at the wide view here this morning, you can see a little surface low over in the vicinity of Lake Charles from the surface observations. But for us here in central Alabama, it looks like our temperature is in the lower 70s as we start the day, and we may not even get to 80 in some spots where the rain keeps going. Speaking of the rain, here is a look at a very large rain shield extending all the way from near Dothan, all the way up across Montgomery and Birmingham, and up into the Shoals area, as well as Columbus and Tupelo areas. So a lot of primarily light rain, but some embedded areas of some heavier rain, and of course a good deal of rain still going on along the Gulf Coast. QPF looking a lot better as it shows some of that moisture getting further north, and I think their predictions here are a little bit better than they were yesterday. Storm Prediction Center not outlooking a specific area for any severe weather across the continental United States, but of course the C-text area in the southwest U.S. Means that we could see some marginally severe weather there. The tropics have a lot of attention for weather enthusiasts right now, and we've got actually 5 areas, believe it or not, but we're going to focus on 3. Danielle, Earl, and what could become Fiona. All right, let's take these one at a time. There's Danielle, still showing a pretty good presentation, and it had a eye replacement cycle going on yesterday, and that looks to be complete, or it's being, becoming finished. And the National Hurricane Center continues to keep Danielle as it slides off east of Bermuda, keeps it a hurricane until it gets into the North Atlantic, where it'll become a subtropical storm. Now, taking the next one, this is Earl with kind of a combination of visual or visible and IR picture, because the sun is not completely up down there just yet. Earl been boogieing along, still at tropical storm strength, but still has been moving a little to the south of the previous tracks, and as a result, looks like it's going to give a glancing blow to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. You can see the hurricane warning in effect for the northern Leeward Islands, as well as the hurricane watch for the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico as it slides by their area Monday night and into Tuesday morning. Now, real quick out into the Atlantic, and you can see the what could become Fiona. It's still a little bit disorganized, but it should be moving into an area where conditions are more favorable, and the result being that it will probably become a depression in the next 24 to 48 hours. And mentioned looking at the whole Atlantic. This is the whole view, and I said there were 5. We can count Danielle, Earl, what could become Fiona. There's one right off the coast of Africa, disturbed area, and then another one on the African continent that is headed out that way. So certainly a large train of events occurring across the tropical Atlantic as we head into one of the most climatologically active periods of hurricane season. All right, this is the 06Z GFS model run, and you can see the rain being projected from the GFS across the southeastern U.S. as a result of that little surface low and upper level low reflection. My concern is for Monday we may be under forecasting the rain. We'll have to wait and see. The GFS certainly suggesting that that weakness is still in the area, and the result might be that we do see some rain, but the GFS seems to be holding off on it, keeping most of it along the Gulf Coast. I think that we may have to up our probabilities for rain for tomorrow, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But in the meantime, today, certainly enjoy a cooler, wetter day. The weakness in the ridge is still there on Tuesday, but the GFS once again suggesting that we won't be seeing much in the way of showers. I'm still throwing in at least isolated showers. And, of course, there comes Earl as it gives a glancing blow to the area of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Now, the GFS is suggesting that Earl is going to move up toward the outer banks of North Carolina. I think that that's probably a pretty good forecast here right now. The result for us on Wednesday is we're back to at most isolated showers. The Earl finally gets picked up with the flow, but it comes very close to the outer banks, so going to be some interesting weather for those folks, along with tremendous swells and possible coastal flooding as a result of Earl being so close to the Outer Banks area of North Carolina and southeastern Virginia. Earl gets picked up in the flow and recurves, but certainly going to be giving a lot of coastal flooding potential to the mid-Atlantic states all the way up into New England. And, of course, on the surface map, we can see there goes Earl. In the meantime, a front comes down our way on Friday. It looks to be rather weak, but with a trough on Saturday over the eastern half of the country, it looks like a weak front moves through, and that may actually help to keep our temperatures down just a little bit. And finally, it looks like Sunday, the front settles in over central Florida, and that, again, no big air mass change, but certainly some slightly cooler weather for us, and that would be welcome. However, the Energizer Ridge comes back. We mentioned this yesterday, and it looks like it's back. This is the 8th of September, and there it is, still over the southeastern U.S. Just can't get rid of it, just like that Energizer bunny. But finally, and we had hopes of this yesterday, and the GFS is continuing to maintain this trend, there is a fairly good trough, which once again, around the 13th of September, could mean an air mass change, and some drier, cooler air will at least keep the hopes out for that. Well, thanks for tuning in to this rather long Weather Extreme video, as we have a lot of weather to discuss. I hope that you have a great Sunday. James Spann should be back with the next edition bright and early tomorrow morning. In the meantime, hope that you have a great day, and Godspeed.
Each day there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.